Oh, thank you.
Uh, but you want to just like run through it without the music and just add the music later?
That'll be easy to do. Oh, Jeff, thank goodness. He says he's headed in this direction in an hour. Yeah, let's just start. How you doing over there?
Doing pretty good. It's on live now. I'm sharing it.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to go. Let's do the first part of the music though, legalize
Yeah,
it,
drop it.
and then we'll just head into it. Um,
You ready?
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands
And welcome.
when you're gonna
are you on
legalize
that one?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, can I use this one?
Huh?
And Jason can use it? Does that work like that?
Yeah, so you can be on which one is that?
This one is mic 2.
Okay, what Jason, which one are you gonna
Tell
use?
me when they gonna legalize me.
This one.
That one's
4.
4. Okay, yeah.
Tell me
And
when
so
they
you're on
gonna
that one,
legalize me.
Okay.
And welcome to another episode of Fully Baked Radio. It's your host, Flip Marley. And on today's show, we have the wonderful Sci-Fi Glass Head Shop calling in. And we have
Damn it. Got to do that. Alright, let's start over.
Huh?
going
Just
down.
had a break for it. The artist's name. Artist Blue. Blue Wake Up.
You wanna start that again?
Yeah.
You did.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
And welcome to another episode of Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Flip Marley. And on today's show, we have Sci-Fi Glass calling in. And we also have Louis Wave Duck from Street Legends Wave Cartel stopping by. And of course, we have the Fully Baked recap with all the hottest and latest cannabis news that's been buzzing all around the country. All that and some more. We got dope indie artists happening right now. This is Ovid the Poet, Legalize Me. And we'll be right back. Fully Baked Radio. Yeah, you go with the side door to beat up. Damn, son, your eyes is burnt red.
When you see that shit, that's the highest shit.
And you know the way you up and all that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try with short smoke.
Alright.
Play it out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fully Baked Radio. It's your host, Flip Marley. I'm joined today with the lovely Vanessa Maria. What's going on, Vanessa? And hello, ladies and gentlemen, stoners, potheads, cannabis lovers everywhere. It's your host, Flip Marley. at WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. And you know, I'm joined by the one and only Vanessa Maria. What's going on, homie?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Nothing much. Well, a lot, actually. Man, this cannabis legalization in New Jersey is finally here. Finally here. Picking up a lot of steam.
A lot is moving fast, and it just shows like what a real difference can make when you have a new governor in charge.
Yeah, let's get a clap for that.
Right?
Will Murphy.
Will Murphy getting it popping. So a lot of stuff happened in New Jersey when it comes to cannabis, and the governor had a big press conference last week. And in that press conference, he announced an expansion of the medical cannabis program in New Jersey. He signed an executive order, and he also, told the Department of Health and Senior Services to get feedback from the public and do some investigating and come up with some recommendations within 90 days on how to expand the program. So, of course, number one thing on many people's list is home grow.
Amen to that.
Because a lot of states that have medical cannabis have home grow. And it kind of solves the problem of not having enough dispensaries and the products also being very expensive. So that's one thing a lot of people are advocating for. So in the next 90 days, if you live in New Jersey, this is your opportunity to give Governor Murphy feedback, and also Department of Health and Senior Services, the department that regulates the medical cannabis program. Let them know. Call, email, tweet at them, and put forth your recommendations. Phil, as a patient, what would you recommend?
Oh, I am a patient.
You are.
First thing first is home grow. Well, before we get into what I want, I just want to let it be known. I think my pot radar is going off very strong right now. I was doing the math, and his 90-day deadline actually falls on the weekend at the Monday of 420.
Whoa.
It's 423. So, Bill Murphy, you don't have to stay in the cannabis closet. We know you want to, enjoy this greenness with us. So, come on down to Fully Baked, and we can get that set up. But to your question, what I would like to see is more dispensaries. It's very hard. And I know for myself that is somewhat mobile. I can only imagine for people that are not. It's very hard to travel halfway across the state just to pick up legal cannabis and then travel another half back just to get home to use your cannabis. And the thing that I think Jersey's having a problem tackling is how are they going to get rid of the black market? The first thing that you do is get rid of the black market is make it more accessible. You make it more accessible, then people aren't readily to go to the black market. And the second thing that I like to see, which I think will also strangle off the black market, is cheaper prices in these dispensaries. When you're saying you're charging people double what you could get from your boy around the corner, what is the point of really going into dispensary? Or, Jersey has the alternative treatment centers. What are the purposes of going into the alternative treatment centers?
I mean, yeah, with more dispensaries and cultivators, you have more competition, then hopefully you'll have, lower prices. I think they should get rid of the doctor registry because a lot more doctors could prescribe. That's one thing a lot of people have a hard time getting a doctor to prescribe to them. And then also this whole thing, going every 90 days to get to their doctor to get prescribed. That's a hassle, especially people that have long-term chronic illnesses. It's yes, I still have HIV. Yes, I still have cancer. Yes, I still have IBS. Yes, I still have epilepsy. Those things aren't going away. So it doesn't make sense to me that you have to keep going to your doctor to verify that you still have a disease or illness. It doesn't make sense to me. And then also, the fees are expensive, $200 for a car. For people who are disabled on fixed income, elderly people, that's a lot of money. A lot of people I know, they're living off SSI or Social Security or disability checks. The patients that need it the most, and that's kind of a lot of money. So they need to do something about those fees. And they just need to make it easier for people to get into the program. And last thing, You know, I have a lot of still more English, but last thing, they need to put information out there in Spanish, and they need to have
For real.
more Spanish-speaking
Amen.
people available to help them out, and in other languages too.
Yeah, like touch on that. Like everyone's just getting so caught up in the selling and the growing of the plan, and we're like forgetting about the smaller things. Like, is everyone being included? Do we have bilingual language that's out there for people that don't speak English? Like little small things like that. But I do definitely want to like take my hat off to Mr. like Phil Murphy. Like all those points that you touched on were similar to the things that he brought up in his press conference. He mentioned physicians. Only 1% of the physicians that are actually registered actually are active in the program registering patients. Only 1%. Like that's ridiculous. Patients. There's only 13,000 patients in the state, and he compared our state to Michigan, roughly in population. And over in Michigan, they have 27,000 patients. That's more than double what we got over
We have
in
9
Jersey.
million people here.
We're
Like,
the most densely populated state, and we only have
well,
13,000 people registered.
yeah, the other point he made was that the previous administration purposely made it
Yeah.
difficult for people to access the program, making the program like ineffective. And I agree with that.
Definitely. And he plans on making the access more available, saying that there should be about 40 or so more ailments that should be added to the recommendation.
Yup.
That's what's up. 40 recommendation, like 40, like, you know, like that's what's up. Going from 13 to 43, that's a major right there.
Listen, I'm with it. I think before we leap into a free, legal market,
Let's clean it up a little bit.
let's expand the medical program by a lot and
Yeah.
see what happens, and then use that to inform the legalization process. I mean, again, I also think if we're going to do that, we need to decriminalize as well so we can stop the arrests. But, like, some needs to happen right away. I feel like a lot of states that have legalized, it takes a long time between when the bill is passed to actual implementation. And in the meantime, we could be expanding the medical program without having to change the laws and all of that. So the other thing that happened is the New Jersey Assembly Committee voted to legalize hemp.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because we're the garden state. Why are we not growing hemp? We're importing it. We import it from Canada, Germany, and other countries in Europe. And it just doesn't make sense. We could be growing it here. Why are we importing it?
You know what I say? I see. Well, how long did we have Christy for? Was it like
8
years?
long years.
I see 8 long years of people just planning and waiting and just waiting for him to leave the office. And like now that he's out of office, like they're just throwing everything at the wall and it's just making everything stick. It was like I love it.
Well, even Pennsylvania, which has a conservative legislature, passed an industrial hemp bill, and they're growing hemp in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
We interviewed Riley Cote a couple months ago, and he talked about that. And we really just need to get with the program.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. Like we can't fall behind. Like there's so many states like New York and Pennsylvania as well, especially with their medical aspects. They can't have flower in those states. So like New Jersey is finally taking those progressive steps to like signify itself over on the East Coast and like fix some of these problems that we've been having with our state as far as like the budgets and things like that.
Agreed.
Dope history happening.
So San Francisco did something cool too. Their district attorney made a move to expunge over 3,000 marijuana convictions dating back to 1975. So it's one of the largest batch of expungements in the city's history. And it's really amazing because those were misdemeanor cases, but they're also moving to potentially expunge 4,940 felony marijuana charges. So this is all possible because they passed Proposition 64 in 2016. And again, New Jersey needs to look at places like California and Colorado and look at the expungements. We need that too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the sky's not falling. Like they're making it seem pretty easy. Like 37,000 people
You
Like
know,
that's what's up.
it's going to be life changing for a lot of people that were prevented to get certain jobs, get loans, get housing, immigration.
Yes.
You know, with that expunged from their record, and also for people who have pending cases, like that's like a monkey on your back. It's like stressful.
Yeah.
It costs money to deal with that. So I hope a lot of people can breathe a sigh of relief.
Word. Definitely is over here in New Jersey. Another state that jumped onto the cannabis legalization, New Mexico. They threw their hat in.
New
Yup,
Mexico.
yup. They threw it. It's not official. They said it probably won't be official this go around, but they're getting it started. They have great popularity going on right now. But it's going to be about another year, they said, before it's actually made into a law. And this is, I believe, there are legislators that are making this happen. It's not a voters initiative or anything like that. So we're starting to see like a lot of the suit and tie people getting hands on with the legalization aspect. Of course, the money's involved, and I guess they're starting to come around. But like let's go, let's go.
One by one,
Yeah.
the dominoes are falling. Despite
I mean, they
Jeff
can only lie.
Sessions.
They can only lie, keep up the lie for so long, So they covering themselves up right now.
So we're looking at what, 2 states so far between Vermont and New Jersey that are in the legalization process.
Well, no, the governor signed a bill in Vermont.
Yeah.
It's done deal.
Yeah. They're actually further than we are in Jersey. But I was going to ask about how many states by the end of the year do you think will actually legalize or be in the process of legalizing cannabis?
I hope Delaware's on that list. Delaware's pretty close.
Yeah, they've been talking about it for a while.
I hope that, I don't know. It's kind of like, Rhode Island seems close too. Connecticut is going down that path. I feel like, again, it's going to be East Coast, West Coast states. The middle of the country, going to take a while. South, going to take a while.
Well,
the South is seeming more progressive, definitely more progressive, but the mid, I don't know. Like, what's going on with Atlanta?
All right, so here goes my prediction. As of right now, there's about 2 states that are actively in the legalization process. As I said, Vermont and New Jersey. I think by the end of the year, close to 10 of these states will probably be involved. We still have Atlanta. Alabama just put forward a decriminalization in on their state legislative level. So they're looking to decriminalize cannabis on their platform on West.
Alabama has one of the toughest
Yeah,
penalties.
I seen that and my jaw drop was like, wow, that's meaning something right there. Isn't that Sessions like stopping grounds? Is that where he teaches
Sessions is no, we have a Democratic senator in there now, Doug Jones. But yeah, I mean, again, it's people pushing for it, right? And there's a lot more people coming out of the class, a lot more people organizing, a lot of people seeing that money.
Yeah.
It's not just activists, it's entrepreneurs, it's physicians. The push is coming from all sides. So again, just keep pushing, everybody. Keep pushing.
Definitely. But it's looking really good, looking great.
A thing happened in Pennsylvania that was encouraging is the state Senate Government Committee voted unanimously to approve Senate Resolution 258, which is urging the U.S. Congress to amend the Controlled Substances Act to remove marijuana as a Schedule I controlled substance to recognize the proven medical uses of cannabis. And again, mostly symbolic, but still, I think that that's an argument always used by states to not have medical marijuana or legal marijuana. Oh, well, it's against the federal government, Controlled Substance Act. More and more states need to do this, and again, put pressure on the federal government to change this ridiculous status.
Definitely. Shout out to Cory Booker, who's on top of that very actively as well, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone brought anything to Phil Murphy about descheduling in New Jersey?
Is that a federal thing? Can we do that on the state level?
I know.
I believe there's state and federal scheduling.
Yeah, it's separate. Jersey has its own scheduling.
Right, exactly.
So, but Phil Murphy does have the power to deschedule.
Oh, right.
It wouldn't need to, because how are you gonna have? That's part of the weak man's argument a lot. His lawsuits and stuff. How can you be in violation of, have a controlled substance when the state itself recognizes that it has medical value. It doesn't make any sense.
Or definitely.
So we'll see how that goes. So I think we're going to take a short break, and we're going to talk with the folks from Sci-Fly, right? Am I saying that?
Yup,
Sci-Fly head shop. They, like many people, who are in this kind of business, want to advocate too. They also want to get more people of color represented in the market. So we're going to talk to them. Again, I think it's good to talk to business owners as well, see how they feel, because traditionally small businesses have had a lot of power and influence in lobbying Congress members. So stay tuned to Fully Baked Radio. It's your girl Vanessa Maria,
Flip Marley,
Jason Arnold,
Mr. Lifestyle at Trenton here. Nice.
We'll be right back. You're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot we're not live.
This is great. I could do a lot of stuff with this program. So, yeah, this is cool.